Anterior plagiocephaly or unilateral coronal synostosis is associated with underacting superior oblique and inferior oblique overaction on the side of the synostosis. This is due to the flattening of the forehead on the same side and asymmetric bossing of the forehead on the opposite side. Though molding helmets or cranial surgery early in infancy can be effective in correcting it, often child is brought much later when the squinting becomes apparent, and the asymmetry is due to ocular plagiocephaly. Ocular features are flattening of the forehead, eyebrow on that side is raised, superior orbital rim is depressed, X-ray skull shows classic harlequin deformity, and correction of the ocular torticollis can improve the facial asymmetry if surgery is undertaken quite early. These are the ocular features. And underaction of the superior oblique is due to desagittalization. We can see this child with the right lateral, right plagiocephaly. There is head tilt and face turn to the left, and the tip of the nose is deviated towards the left. All these are due to the ocular plagiocephaly, which is due to the constant face turn or head tilt due to the strabismus, which was termed by Greenberg as ocular plagiocephaly. It's classically seen in superior oblique paresis, and it can be assessed by measuring the distance between the lateral canthus and angle of mouth between the two sides. And we did an observation study among patients who presented with hypertrophy and plagiocephaly during the period from 2008 to 2014. Detailed examination with visual acuity, strabismus measurement with PBCT or Krimsky assessment of facial asymmetry by measuring the distance between the lateral canthus and the angle of the mouth, and fundus extortion was done. Lateral canthus to angle of mouth on either side were done before surgery and every year thereafter for a minimum of 4 years. And photos were also taken to look for the abnormal head posture subjectively. There were 6 girls, 2 of them were sisters and 2 boys, mean age was 54 months, and 5 were right-sided, 3 left-sided. Mean hypertropia was 23 prisms in primary position. 2 had exotropia of mean 18 prisms. Inferior oblique overaction varied from 2+ to 4+. All had head tilt to opposite side. 6 had face turn also to the opposite side. And fundus showed extorsion of the globe in all patients, and the canthus to angle mouth was 1.9 millimeter. The flattening of the face and abnormal head posture and deviation of the tip of the nose was also appreciated in the photos. Surgery was done for all, and 5 had inferior oblique recession, and 3 had 4+ inferior oblique overaction and had anteriorization of the inferior oblique. 2 had lateral rectus recession as well. Mean hypertropia reduced to 5.3 prisms, and mean canthus to angle of mouth was 0.6 millimeter. Measurement from canthus to angle of mouth reduced by 1.4 millimeter over 3 to 4 years, and extortion of fundus abolished. The abnormal head posture disappeared completely in 6 patients. That is, in 75% of the patients, the abnormal head posture had disappeared completely. This child, immediately after postoperative period, he had abolishment of abnormal head posture, and we can see the pre and postoperative after 5 years, the facial asymmetry has improved a lot. So coming to discussion, often the facial asymmetry associated with unilateral coronal synostosis is taken for granted, neglected till much later, and associated ocular problem is not recognized unless looked for the abnormal obtrude. And this ocular plagiocephaly adds to the already existing orbital asymmetry, exaggerating the facial asymmetry. And we know that if the head tilt is in congenital superior oblique palsy is corrected early enough, the facial asymmetry can be completely abolished. And early recognition of the strabismus produced due to the desagittalization of superior oblique and its underaction in anterior plagiocephaly is important. And addressing the secondary overaction of inferior oblique can reduce the facial asymmetry produced by the ocular plagiocephaly, which is induced. Thank you. These are my references.
Yeah, I think that's quite interesting, Dr. Mohan. Yeah, so I think we hardly had, the literature from this part of the world that we talk about, the strabismus in craniosynostosis. Just out of curiosity, like, what was the age of, the mean age for, they had undergone the correction for craniosynostosis?
Actually, none of them had any cranial intervention done. When we did surgery, the mean age was 54 months. And the superior oblique palsy per se producing facial asymmetry we have seen done earlier, but these patients come quite often later than later to the strabismologist rather than.
Okay, I am also of concern about how's their neuro-ophthalmology examination, like how was the optic nerve in this group of patients,
All these patients had completely normal neuro. We always took a neuro evaluation just to see whether they are planning to do anything, because it is already late. Actually, any cranial deformational intervention should be done during infancy.
Yeah,
so we usually clear that you can go ahead with surgery. That is when we do, and we usually have because posterior part, there is no involvement of the optic nerve as such, because it is anterior coronal synostosis producing a flattening and protrusion of the forehead and trochlea.
Yeah, so for the similar reason, they do have
Sorry to interrupt,
palpebral
sir.
fissure changes.
So time is up. We have to move on to the next. I'm really sorry for this.
Yeah, that's